Dumela motswadi mo hae, nna ke Phumoa Mashego, ke a o amohela mo lenanehong la kajeno la Ratanang, the Parenting Club. Mosebetsi wa hao jaaka motswadi ke ho ruta bana ba hao se lokileng le se sa lokang mo setjhabeng sa rona. Empa ha wena motswadi o fumaneha o etsa dintho tse sa lokang mo setjhabeng sa rona, o ithola o le letjhankaneng, ha o lahlehelwe fela ke nako le bana ba hao, o lahlehelwa hape ke respect e bana ba hao ba o fang yona. Eo ke taba ya mme Cheryl Suarez o re qoqetse ka experience ya hae le moshanyana wa hae.
My name's Cheryl Suarez and I'm 45 years of age. I've been separated. I'm legally still married but separated for 12 to 13 years. I have 3 children. My eldest is my daughter, her name is Shanae, which is over there. That's Shanae, she's 29 years old, and that's her husband next to her, right? Then I've got my eldest son, which is the second. I don't have a picture of his. He's not a person to take pictures. He's 26 in September. His name is Ronaldo. So it's Shanae and Ronaldo. And then I have my son that's living with me, which is the minor. It's Miguel. He's the youngest. Those are my 3 children.
My name is Florette. I'm Cheryl's sister. I'm the second eldest from Cheryl. We've been a very close family. We've known each other since we've been kids. We've been close with each other.
The first time I was arrested was in 1999. It was for fraud. I was then a manager for the bank, which I will say I didn't have to fraud. It was pure greed. My bail was then 20,000 Rand. My daughter had to run around at that time to find bail money for me. She did not complete the matric because of the situation and what she faced. She had to take the responsibility of Miguel to see to him while I was incarceration. And she had asked me not to do something like that again, which I promised I would never resort to any crime. But then not working again, that's when you went there, and that's when I then resorted back to fraud again, but this time not company fraud. This time I was introduced to credit card fraud, which I then got involved with credit card fraud to survive. And in the end I was again arrested for a mere 12,000 Rand. I got 3 years because the magistrate picked up that I was incarceration before, and his exact words was that I'm not rehabilitated.
There was times that when she was inside, I couldn't take it because she needed us, and a lot of us couldn't be there for her.
Going back there for the second time was the toughest. First of all, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassing my children. That is why my daughter feels the way she feels. She's angry. She doesn't know that life, and for her to have gone through what she went through in 98, 99, and yeah, mother's doing exactly the same thing. It was embarrassing for her.
When she was released, I went and I picked her up, and before she was released, I said to her, it doesn't matter where you are, what happened in your life is a past. We now need to focus on the future, and all I want is for her to pick herself up, build a relationship with the children, and build a relationship with her family again.
With my youngest son, we tend to fight all the time.
With the fact that she's been previously in jail, and now that she's been incarcerated again, and now she's been released, it's all the factors that pushed him away from his mother. So he's fighting the fact that he hasn't got that bond with his mother.
Just this morning even, I said to him, please get done because, we've got things to do. And we had a few words with each other, and he slammed the door in my face, which really killed me. It killed me.
The only problem Miguel has, he doesn't like authority.
It's just, I don't know what is it. I think it's because of the time that I lost out on him.
16 years old. He's on that stage where I do what I want to, and I can come when I want to, and I say what I want to. She feels she wants a son, but she cannot get to her son. She can't get through to him.
I'd like something to be done about it. I'm not sure whether the problem is with me, whether the problem is before I went into castration, or while I was in castration, or is the problem with him, or where the problem is.
She doesn't know how to deal with him. He doesn't know how to relate to her because of the time that they were apart.
But as a mother, I don't think that is the right way, that the way my son speaks to me. It's probably a reason why he reacts like that. So I need to get to the core of it. What can I do to really make it better and make our understanding and our relationship be as a mother and a son?
Thank you so much for allowing me into your home and into your lives to chat with us about the challenge that you're currently facing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it tremendously.
You're welcome.
How would you describe your relationship with your mom?
Up and down.
Why?
Sometimes maybe we have our ups and downs, you know. Then I would like, I'll be disrespectful, you see. And I'll throw a tantrum and stuff like that, you see. Then my mother she'll shout at me and she'll cry because now I'm being rude, you see.
Everything I say, he'll backchat. And I will also retaliate because he's embarrassing me in front of my family. And they're all saying to me, and they all see how rude he is. And when I see their children not retaliating and being rude to them, I feel it's all my fault. It's all my fault, you know.
Are you angry with her?
In a way, yeah.
In a way. Why?
Because she hasn't been here most of my life.
Have you spoken with her about it?
No.
When you were little and you couldn't be with your mom, what did you long for?
I wanted a mother. I can't explain.
It's hard to explain, hey? Besides the time away, besides the incarceration,
Correct, yes.
what do you think when you look back? What do you think you could have done differently to have a better relationship with Miguel?
In the times when it was bad, I should then still have kept Miguel with me. I should have still made sure that he's with me. It is fair to go through it with me. Make sure that he's with me.
What do you want your relationship with your mom to be like?
A happy relationship. One that wasn't broken up. Just carry on with their lives. And everything is just right.
That I always said, when I come out, I'd like to have supper with all three of my children around me. And it still hasn't happened.
And have you tried to make it happen?
There's a bit of friction. No, I haven't, because speaking to Miguel, Miguel is angry with his sister because of the time when I went out for the second time castration, she wanted to have nothing to do with me. And the more I tried to tell Miguel, she's angry at me. And the more I tried to tell Ronaldo, she's angry at me. It would say that they would say, but mommy, you're still her mother. But they can't understand what she also went through. So I don't blame her for being angry, but I also feel that I am a mother at the end of the day, and we all have to forgive to be forgiven.
Do you think that what you need in order for you to be able to rebuild your relationship with your children is forgiveness?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Motswadi Mohaye, ha re khutla mo papatsong re buisana le psychologist ho bona hore na Miguel le mme wa hae ba ka rarabola jwang bothata bo ba shebane le bona o ska tsamaya. Write to us or call us if hona le topic e o ka ratang ho e bona re bua ka yona today, or if you'd like to share your experience le batswadi ba bang mo South Africa. Ko amoele hape motswadi Mohaye mona mo Ratanang the Parenting Club. Re mona re etetse lelapa la Suarez, ke tlile le mokgotsi wa ka o ileng counseling psychologist me Hazel Korean ho ratlo thusana le rona ho bona hore na re ka mo thusa jwang me Suarez le ngwana hae. Hazel, thank you so much for agreeing to come and chat with us today and sharing your expertise and your knowledge both with me, the viewers, and with the family.
Thank you for having me.
Just some questions that I would like to know, just in terms of building a relationship with your children, how important is time spent together?
It's a very good question. And yeah, it's very important to not just time together, well spent, but also as a parent being available to your children.
What does that mean, being available?
I think especially perhaps in the case of a teenager with Miguel, it's I think counterproductive to force time together, to force the both of you to speak. I think it would probably be quite beneficial for Miguel to know that if he needs to speak to you about something, whatever it may be, that you will be willing to listen, I guess. Maybe you'll get angry depending on what the issue is, but that you'll allow him that time.
And in the case of Miguel and Cheryl, where Cheryl says to me that all in all, they've really only been with each other for 8 years. So they, whereas most parents spend all the little building blocks of time, so you kind of get to know what kind of person your child is and what irritates them, and they get to know that about you, where they haven't had that opportunity. What should they be doing now to create that so that they get to know that about each other?
I think we come really to a lot of the crux of the situation on both your sides. One of the things that comes across very plainly is that it's a fragmented family. And on both your sides, it's a long road ahead. Sherelle, I think on your side, it is going to be about trust building. You are going to have to earn your son's trust back. A very big part of 8 years out of Miguel's life is the idea of a relationship with you that was not stable. He didn't always have access to you. Even when you weren't in prison, for example, he couldn't always have access to you.
But Miguel's reaction to being away from his mom in this way for so long, is this how most young people react?
I mean, I would have to say, where you're right, is that different people will react differently to different circumstances. I think given what Miguel has had to go through, it's not perhaps out of the ordinary that you are going to be rebellious, that you are going to not be ready, to listen to your mom. I think you're still very hurt. Yeah. And I think, and I'm taking a guess here, that right now in this room, at this moment, this is one of the few times where the both of you have really been able to show and acknowledge how important this relationship has been and is, and how difficult it has been. And I think from where Miguel is coming from, I think it's really understandable. It's understandable rebelliousness. A lot of what being a teenager is about is pushing boundaries and protesting the limits, because that's also what becoming an adult is about. You can't always set all the curfews for him. He needs to be able at some point to negotiate with you his own curfews. I think discipline is going to be an important issue here as well. So in terms of, where Miguel is coming from, he's dealing with adolescence. What it means to be a young man, what it means to be a student, a brother, a son, a member of society. In parallel to that, I think your process, Sherelle, is not just being a mom. You're reintegrating into society. It's your re-entry into the community, into your family. And then next to that then is your relationship, and how are you going to negotiate that? Yeah? So those are all the things that I think are very important to take into consideration.
And what about issues around discipline? How does she navigate that in disciplining Miguel, setting boundaries for Miguel, because he is still a minor and a child in her care?
Yeah.
How do they navigate that between the two of them, bearing in mind that Miguel's never had to accept that?
You can't just immediately walk in and expect that Miguel is going to trust you, that he's going to, respect you unquestioningly. That's also, again, something that will have to be earned. So once that understanding between, the family members that have had a big role to play, for example, in Miguel's life, once that understanding is there, that's something then that you can try and negotiate.
Cheryl, when you were getting ready to be released, I've always wondered this, because we hear so much about correctional services and kind of reintegration into society. Did you have any kind of help or support in terms of how you would reintegrate into your family when you came out of your incarceration?
They do have that facility, yes, for each and everyone that is living on parole, that you have to see the social worker for counseling and preparation for the society and your family for the integration. And yes, I did attend it, and it also depended on the social worker to find out if you were fit enough mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
And it's on your own, it's not with the family?
No, not. If they need the family to come in, they do ask the family. But like I have explained in my previous interview, that at the time Miguel and I had such a great relationship because probably we weren't living together, and that is where the difference comes now, that when I'm out, it's a total different child to what I've seen while I was there. Because if it was like this at that time, they would definitely, correctional services would definitely have called Miguel in, or the family in, or either to start doing the counseling together, yes.
But one of the things, that I say with your case that's working for you is the very simple fact that your families encouraged the interaction between the two of you throughout all of the incarcerations. I was reading a study, it's an old study, a 2005 study for correctional services, and 55% of the mothers in jail did not have any interaction with their children.
Sure.
So that's again, it's an old statistic, but it's a survey that's being done. Yeah. Which is why I say one of the resources at your, reach is your family.
Motswadi Mohae, ha re tla papatsong re etela ko social development ho ithuta hore na ba thusa jwang bomme ba tswang letjhankaneng ho itukisetsa ho khutlela gae o ska tsamaya. Write to us or call us if hona le topic e o ka ratang ho e bona re bua ka yona today, or if you'd like to share your experience le batswadi ba bang mo South Africa. Motswadi Mohae ko amele hape mona mo Ratanang the Parenting Club. Ka jeno re buisana ka hore ha o le motswadi o tswa tjhankaneng o itukisetsa jwang ha se tso fihla mo gae, le hore hape o reintegrate jwang into society le family ya hao. Ke mo Nicro mona ke tlo buisana le uSkhosimpileng ya bonga sese ukuthi uthathe isikhathi sakho uzoxoxisana nathi. Yini into ongayenza ukuzilungiselela to be reintegrated into a family situation yakho?
Kuningi okwenziwayo inside prison from the DCS side ukuthi ba prepare.
Yini DCS?
It's the Department of Correctional Service.
Okay.
So iyaba prepare abantu for their release. And then kunama programs even in Nicro ewenzayo inside prison 6 months prior to their release ukuthi prepare nje for their release. And then sibenzana futhi nama families ukuze la kunenkinga khona sizokwazi ukuthi si-intervene, and umuntu makaphuma aphumele ekhaya ukuthi li-open yakhona kuma-accepta.
Inkinga abazali ababhekana nazo mabebuya into the family from a prison situation ziyini that I should be aware of as umbukeli ekhaya preparing to welcome back a family member?
Okokuqala nje inkinga enkulu fike kube i-stigma sokuthi lo muntu lo ubuya ejele abizwe ngamagama angekho mahle siwaziyo ke. Okunye futhi uthola ukuthi umama ubehambile ekhaya isikhathi eside, useyabuya manje ubuya ekhaya lakhe kunama changes enzekile ngesikhathi engekho yena la ekhaya, and then ukubuya kwakhe la ekhaya ufanele abe ready for lama changes lawa yana abe khona ekhaya, uya understand. And makafika futhi ebese sekasebenzisana nomndeni wakhe gradually ukuthi abuyelane nabo, angaveke nje afike nje sengifikile and then izinto seziyashintsha sengibuyile mina nami nomuzi, uyabona.
I-relationship between umzali kakhulukazi umama nezingane, how is that affected by lesikhathi lesi umama angekho
ekhaya? Angithi uzothola ukuthi umama ngesikhathi lesi bekangekho ekhaya, there was a guardian who was taking care of this child in your absence, okanye mhlambe bekukhona ubaba eselinengane ngesikhathi umama engekho. Then bese uthola ukuthi nemithetho ishintshile, you understand, and uthola ukuthi lo mthetho wena obowushayela umntana wakho akusaseyiwo ke lo mthetho manje, izinto ziyashintsha, nokuthi umntana ubefundiswani, nokuthi bekuthiwani kuye, you understand, nge-absence yakho la ekhaya. So mawubuya wena mzali, it's very important ukuthi khulumisana nomntana, ukhulumisane nomndeni wakho, uyabona i-changes occur gradually, angeke kuze kushintshe nje ngelanga elilodwa.
What are some of the most common feelings that abantwana bawa display, and what are the things I should be looking out for as umzali to see ukuthi this behavior really is problematic because of the way umntwana I feel about me being back home?
Most of the children are very open and honest about their feelings, which is very good. Uthola ukuthi wena mzali mawubuya, it's like usuya invade kule space sabo, number one. Bese sokuthi sibe comfortable kuso, sibe used to not having you around, you understand. And sometimes you find that abantwana baba angry because they no longer trust you ukuthi ngempela njengoba ubuhambile usubuyile usubuye konomphelo, angeke usaphinda futhi ore-offend.
How do I help abantwana bami adjust to umama obuyayo?
Uyabona ngalesikhathi umama lo ebese jail, kubalekile ukuthi makube ne-interaction between umama nefamily yakhe, umama nabantwana bakhe, mabavakashelane, umama athola ama-visit, labantu abangaphandle bayenza ukuthi abantwana bayaye bamvakashela umama ejail. Umama une-access to ifone, uyabafonela abantwana ngaphandle, bayabhalelana incwadi, you understand, so that lo muntu lo obuya eprison kungabe ngazathi manje kubuya i-stranger. Kanti ke nayo ifamily if ibona ukuthi yalidinga usizo lokuthi kunomuntu ozophuma ejail sizo-adjusta kanjani, they can still come to necro officers bathole usizo, because we don't only work with abantu aba-incarcerated, we also work with their families.
Thank you very much for isikhathi sakho nolwazi lwakho, and thank you for, I think, those encouraging words for people that might be watching namhlanje hlelweni lethu. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. For batswadi ba bangata ha o bonolo ho dumela hore o yentse phoso, ho bohlokwa hore o kope tshwarelo mo lelapeng la hao le mo baneng ba hao hore le kgone hore le tle le lokise relationship ya lona. A re kopane hape ka beke e tlang hona mona mo Ratanang, the Parenting Club.